Hey, I'm Jeff Skversky. Today on Inside the Huddle, presented by Sportskeeda, I catch up with Carolina Panthers tight end Colin Thompson. He has such an amazing story. He got hurt in high school. He then gets re-injured in college at Florida. He's told he's done playing football there. The only one to give him an opportunity, Matt Rhule, when he was the head coach at Temple University in Philadelphia. Then he goes undrafted. He's still fighting, chasing his dream that he's had since he was a little kid of playing in the NFL. And now he's back with Matt Rhule in Carolina on the Panthers. We will talk about that, his journey to the NFL, and much more, including a Panther squad who he believes will surprise some people. They now have Baker Mayfield. He will likely compete with Sam Darnold. We'll talk about the quarterback competition, Christian McCaffrey, and everything else on this episode of Inside the Huddle. Colin, I'm fascinated with your career and your journey. Obviously, from the start, in high school at Archbishop Wood, you injure your foot. I imagine at that point you're thinking, what, life is over, your NFL dreams are over, right?
Not at that point.
Okay.
Played in the Under Armour game. That was a pinnacle right after winning a state title at Wood. And then playing the Under Armour game, which is great, another pinnacle, personal, not as a team. All-American game, that was awesome. And then a couple of months later, I'm doing cone drills, and I go around a cone and just boom, my foot snaps. And that was upsetting. But real rock bottom was when I got to training camp in September, and it broke again. I got another surgery.
At Florida.
At Florida. So that was a very tough, kind of moment for me there. That was, I thought, rock bottom. And then not too long after that, I broke my left foot and had a navicular stress fracture, which is what Joel Embiid dealt with early in his career. And he probably feels great now, Joel, and I do too, but it's something we always kind of, are worried about too, because it's a part of, your history. And Florida said, hey, listen, you're done. You can't play football anymore. We want you to be able to run around with your kids and all this stuff. And I was like, what? I'm trying to play in the NFL. I'm trying to play at Florida. I love this place. So that was rock bottom there when I had a transfer from Florida. I didn't know where I was going. I had 30 offers at one point, and then I had none when I was transferring. So that was a really tough point.
So who talks you off the ledge at that moment, in the sense of you're going, I just want to be a professional football player. I just started college. I hurt the foot again, hurt the other foot. Who helps you get through that moment? Is it your family? Is it other players? When you're at that moment, who talks you through it?
So I've been really fortunate along the way. A lot of us have been. To have a village, because it really does take a village. I've had a village my entire life. I'm so lucky, starting with my parents, who were both entrepreneurs from, Bucks County. My mom's owned stores in Peddler's Village in Princeton, New Jersey, and down Cape May, and she just bought the original fudge kitchen. So we have my mom, who's unbelievable and so motivational, and she's never said a negative word out of her mouth. And she's so driven, and she's helping me have that same drive over the years of positivity. So mom's, the second phone call after calling dad to let him know that everything's okay. Dad's been really in the driver's seat, really driving me around all these practices and et cetera over the way, throughout the years. So dad and I have been tied at the hip. Same with my mom, obviously, but dad's there too. And the nice thing was I just started dating my wife at the time. So we were together, dating, I think 6 or something years or whatever it was, 7 years now. We'd be married for a year, going on 2. And so that core group, along with my brother and then my friends, my close friends, I've had the same group of friends, all the way through just about. So it's been quite the run, but to have that kind of initial group and then the family, friends, and everyone kind of tacking on that have been a part of it, it's been a really special group.
What made you keep going when Florida tells you you're done? You're not going to play football, at least here, or maybe ever again. I don't know exactly what they said to you, but what makes you keep going?
That's a great question. I think what kept me going is I set a goal for myself in 6th grade that I want to play in the NFL. And we made it public amongst family. We made it public amongst close friends. And my mom was about, and my dad was about speaking into existence, back when The Secret was big there, about, speaking things into existence and following your dreams and doing all those things. And I was fortunate that I had parents that allowed me to do that, didn't roll their eyes at that. So what got me going was I set that goal in 6th grade, and every decision I made from that point on, now they all weren't awesome decisions, but a lot of them weren't, right, like all of us at those young ages. But I think about 95% of them were the fact that I want to play in the NFL. missing a party or making the right decision academically or trying to, be a leader or be a captain or whatever that may be on and off the field, to be involved in different things, to try to be, honor roll or whatever that is. So every decision I made from that point on was like, okay, I want to go to the NFL. That's why I went to a place like Archbishop Wood. That's why I went to the University of Florida. That's why I got lucky, went to Temple, and we had success. So even when I was out of the league, because it's been turbulent in and out of the NFL,
Right.
my 6 years professional, I've only played really truly 3 NFL seasons, going on my 3rd season now, but I've been in and out. I played in the AAF. I played in the XFL. I ran marketing for my mom's company. I worked for a finance company. I have my own media company, and Not For Long Media, that we started. So I've stayed busy. I did color commentary for Temple football, sideline reporting for 3 years while I was out of the league. I've done Eagles pre and post game shows at 97.3 ESPN. So I've been extremely busy, but at the end of the day, those decisions were all made because I still want to play in the NFL.
Right. So Matt Rule is the only one at this point when you are down on your luck, you're injured, you don't think maybe, or others don't think at least you can play again. Matt Rule's the only one to give you a scholarship at Division I to go to Temple. How grateful are you in your career to Matt Rule, who to this day still believes in you now with Carolina?
Yes, he does. I'm very grateful. And their entire staff there at Temple that have moved on with either him to Baylor or they've gone elsewhere and now to Carolina. Yeah, Coach Rule, is the reason why, I'm probably talking to you today. I'm playing in the NFL. It's an unbelievable thing. I get to enjoy my family, and it's been a dream, and he's made it possible. I was dead in the water, literally ruled medically ineligible by a school. 99% of the kids that are ruled medically ineligible are done playing. And he said, listen, we're going to give you as much time as you need to heal. This was the 2014 season. And I missed a couple games and I got my strength back. Again, I didn't have a healthy off season all of my college career. And that's when you develop to play the next level or develop to become a better college player. So, yeah. So Coach Rule's the person for me to thank, really, the initial, getting me in the door. And, the grind has been on, him and myself and all the people that have believed me along the way, the PTs, the athletic trainers, my coaches, my tight end coaches, because it's different. It's different than dealing with a player that's had a lot of injuries and a player that's just been healthy, go play. I didn't have that. So yeah, Coach Rule, I owe a lot to him.
Yeah. And obviously this season is your mentality now as you get set for training camp. Do you ever feel like you have a spot on the team, or is that just your journey that I have to prove every snap in practice, every time in the preseason, every time in the regular season? I mean, do you ever feel comfortable? Have you ever had a moment where you go, okay, I'm good? Or do you not allow yourself to have that?
I just don't have it. It's just not even in my DNA and my thought. Of course, there's times where I feel better about my situation on the team than others. There's been times where we played Minnesota and I was the only tight end out there on the field for us in Carolina. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm one of 32 tight ends in the NFL right now on the football field. And that's a really unique thing to say and feel. And that, weird things when you're in it make you feel different ways. Like, okay, I made it. Like this year, we were on the stage for the Kenny Chesney concert, right? I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I made it. Like, this is a big deal. That was unique to me. So that's a great question. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot I made at moments. I don't even know where I'm reflecting back on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just fortunate to be where I am. And I try to earn my roster spot every single day by being the same person every single day. Whether I have, my worst NFL game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is your hometown team, which is never good, or your best game, worse, a couple different teams I've played against. So yeah, it's a grind, but you got to stay level headed. Like I said, I have great parents, truly. I have parents that are both business minded. The what's next mentality that Coach Rule has of, no negatives, keep moving, keep burning, keep churning. I'm fortunate to have great parents.
Yeah, well, hopefully the best years are to come. And now you look at this season, you guys make a huge splash, bringing in Baker Mayfield in a trade. Have you had a chance to talk to Baker, and have you envisioned kind of what this offense might look like with him under center?
I met Baker at the Maxwell Football Club Awards in 2000. I want to say 18. I think he won that and Heisman that year, won the player of the year in college football at the Maxwells. So I met him there. He was great. He was gracious, really nice guy, super professional, had a great run in Cleveland, won a lot of football games, played well. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happened there and he moved on. I have not been able to meet with him yet, but I will meet with him very, very shortly. And we'll be spending a lot of time together very, very shortly. So I'm looking to, reintroduce myself to him. Looking forward to that. And, I wish I could tell you who was going to be the starting quarterback, what's going on, but I don't get paid enough to make that decision. Maybe one day I will. Who knows? Maybe I'll be getting a GM or coaching, but we have a great quarterback room. Matt Corral was drafted in the 3rd round. PJ Walker was MVP of the XFL. Sam Darnold, top draft pick right behind Baker that year. I love Sam. I love all the guys. It's been a really fun journey getting to know those quarterbacks over the years. So I think it's going to be a great season for us. We're one of the most underrated teams in the league. I think we like it that way. And, we like to just kind of let the chips fall where they fall.
Yeah, I believe I read that Baker says he's open. He's ready for a competition with Sam Darnold. What do you think that competition will be like? As a guy that has always competed for his job, there's the competition even at the quarterback where it's under that microscope. Is that good for the team in the sense it brings out the best competition really in not just the quarterback position, but the entire team?
Yeah, we'll have competition in literally everything we do. That's Coach Rule's mentality. Like we play ping pong in the locker room and he gets in there before a team meeting and we're playing to 5. You ready? Sure, I'm ready. Here we go.
Well, that's how Nick Sirianni is with the Eagles, whether it's, rock, paper, scissors, whether it's tic-tac-toe, whether it's basketball, shooting hoops, he has the same way.
Coach was like that at Temple. I mean, we would have ping pong tournaments Wednesday nights in season. You'd be watching film and your name would be called. You come running down. There'd be pizza and wings in there, and you'd have your whole bracket for a player and there'd be a champion every Wednesday. So yeah, coach is super competitive. The team's super competitive. We're going to have competitive events other than football. I can guarantee that during training camp. We have a great roster. First off, players great, but as people. And I think adding a guy like a Baker, who I've met and has been genuine and, all accounts awesome. I can only judge people how they treat me. I'm looking forward to it. Sam's a great guy. Like I said, PJ and Matt. So that's a mature room. Room there. So I'm excited. To add a quarterback and add a player like Baker to any roster, no matter what's going on, it's a really good thing. So
do guys have, and this is a broad question, and so not specifically about these two, but do guys, receivers, tight ends, do they have their favorite when there's a quarterback competition? Do they have their favorites? Maybe the guy that throws the ball to them a little bit more. Is it just personal preference when a guy necessarily doesn't stand out just, beyond?
It's a great question. One, I'll say this for the fans out there listening. Usually the quarterback throws to the guy that's open and has the best mismatch. Not always the best guy or his favorite guy. I will say that. Obviously, coaches scheme up better players for better opportunities. So just a little football knowledge there. But everyone's like, that's his favorite target. Yeah, probably you're right. But, like I said, the tight end is the quarterback's best friend. So we'll see. I'll have a best friend during training camp. It'll probably be whatever quarterback I'll be stationed with. So wherever they put me in the lineup that day, I'll be with the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and we'll try to give it hell. I've worked with PJ Walker, who's my quarterback at Temple. Matt Corral, I got to catch footballs from Ole Miss. I get to catch footballs from Baker Mayfield. And over the years, I've caught footballs from Mark Sanchez and Mitch Trubisky, Eli Manning, Geno Smith.
Cam Newton, right?
Cam Newton in practice, never in a game. But yeah, Teddy Bridgewater. So I played with some great guys and some great football players, some great men. So I'm excited. I'm just excited for another training camp. This is a blessing. This is my 6th in pro football. Started in 6th grade and, made that choice. And like I talked about it earlier, I've been driven towards it. It's all I know. So I'm looking forward to grinding and hopefully a great season.
Yeah. There's all this criticism all the time on the quarterbacks. And look, it comes with the territory, but you go, man, your livelihood is based on making a decision within 1.5 seconds with 5 300-pound linemen trying to rip your head off. And I always go, imagine trying to make a career that, I know it comes with the territory. I know that it's an amazing life if you can be successful at it. But I always go, man, when you really just dumb it down to think about 5 guys coming at your head, that are 300-pound linemen that are freaking nature athletes, and you have to make a decision in 1.5 seconds.
You got a guy like me blocking for you that you're praying block long enough so you get rid of the football. It's the hardest position to play in any sport on the planet. It's non-negotiable. It's not even a fact. I'm not saying there's hard things to do. Hitting a baseball is really hard to do. But to be a quarterback, to orchestrate all 11, the thing about defense and offense, the difference is offense, everyone's got to be on the same page. If somebody screws up, the play doesn't work. If the receiver doesn't block the cornerback on a run play and the ball bounces outside, it's a tackle for one yard.
Right.
Like football offense, 11 for 11 have to do their job or be pretty darn close for it to work. defensively, the guy could go the wrong way and get lucky and boom, it's a sack. This is how defense goes. Sometimes you'll get a defense and you're like, man, if the ball just bounced out there, that's a touchdown. But you know what? They have Brandon Graham, or they have, I'm just using Eagles, for example. They have Brandon Graham, or they have Barrett, or they have whoever, Sean Bradley. Shout out to Sean Bradley, Temple, making a play. And that's just how defensive rolls. But the quarterback position is crazy. Like there's a play last year where I was blocking for Sam and I had a different pass set. I try to do something different than I kind of do or whatever. It's something that I do. It's part of my kind of arsenal. And it was versus Barrett with the Eagles. And I went to jump set him and he beat me inside. And Sam like ran for his life. And everyone's like, Sam's got to like get rid of the football. It's like, well, how's he going to get rid of the football? Like I literally let, not Barrett, Barnett. I literally let Barnett fly up the field and make the play. Do you think I wanted to do that? Absolutely not. But that's the game of football where if you're a quarterback, you're relying on everyone else to do their job too. And then you have to go execute your job and get the cadence right and listen to the play clock and get the, so it's a team effort. It starts with the head coach to the offensive coordinator to the quarterbacks. They're getting the toughest job in the world, the planet. I have guys asking them maybe what they're doing on this play if they don't get that. I've done that in my life. We all have. So God bless them. They make the money, right? They have the media publicity, but it is the toughest position in the world.
Yeah, and you kind of see it with Cam, right? I mean, a couple of years ago, Cam's the best player in the NFL, and then all of a sudden, he's kind of a man without a team, and he's gone to New England, he's back in Carolina, which is a great story, and you're going, how can a guy that is this talented not have a secure spot? And I guess that kind of goes to our point here, which is it's just so hard.
It's so hard. I'll say this too. There's probably 3 or 4 quarterbacks ever. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's probably 20 quarterbacks ever. There's probably 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL now that you could put a bad team in front of, an average team in front of, and they're probably going to be pretty good. You can all name them. Everyone at home could just boom, hit them right now in their head. And Rodgers, Mahomes, whatever they are.
Brady.
I'm a big Brady fan, right? Why not? Josh Allen, right? Like there's good players on these teams now. Like this is the NFL. There's good players on those teams. Obviously, some of those teams are loaded. But my point is, we've all seen what maybe Brady's done with like a Randy Moss, and then we've seen what Brady's done with a player that maybe not be as talented as Randy Moss. So my point is, quarterbacks are a product of their environment. The better team you can have around them, just like everybody, right? Like tight ends are a product of a good quarterback, or they're a product really of a good offensive line because they can protect longer. So it is the ultimate team sport. We force into individualization with it, with fantasy football and all that stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, guys, the 10 guys could be perfect. And just like I did against the Eagles, I missed on Barnett, and Sam Darnold had a scramble, and we could have probably thrown a touchdown, but Sam Darnold had to scramble the other direction. But people say Sam Darnold missed the throw. Did Sam Darnold miss the throw, or did Colin Thompson miss the block? Colin Thompson block. So that's football. And that's why it's the hardest game on earth to play as a team, and why quarterback is really hard to do.
And so I know you haven't played with Baker Mayfield yet, and you haven't been with him yet in training camp. So we're doing this before you start training camp with the Carolina Panthers. But do you know any differences right now between Baker and between Sam Darnold, and what that competition might look like in camp as Matt Rule and company are trying to make a decision on who the starting quarterback is going to be for week 1? Do you know any of the differences between the quarterbacks, or are they very similar?
I think they're pretty similar. Again, I know Sam really well. I got to play with him now. This will be going on our 2nd year together. And I know of Baker, obviously, from watching him play. They're both mobile. Sam Darnold's got sneaky really fast. I think he had like a 40 or 50-yard rush last year. And then through week 3 or 4, he was leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns. So Sam can really run. Baker's mobile too. I know they're guys that are really competitive and have a ton of drive. Sam's kind of maybe more cool, calm, collected West Coast guy who's from, the beach in California that went to USC. And we all know Baker's got, the big personality and, the confidence and all that stuff. So I think maybe that would be different. Their personality is different, but their play ability is probably really similar in the sense that they do a lot of the same stuff. They both can throw, they both can move, they both can run, they're both smart. So again, I'm excited because every training camp's excited, and things are going to happen in training camp that you'll never guess. This is kind of the fun part of the game. But to get to know another good guy in the league and play with them at the end of the day, like it's just a coworker that everybody goes to work with. I'm excited for that opportunity.
Yeah, when you look at this team, I mean, you kind of said it earlier. You guys think you can surprise a lot of people around the league.
I think so. I think, where we were at last year with a bunch of injuries, 5-5 in the middle part of the season. Really, I think we're 1-7. I'm here on ESPN from all the close games we lost, less than 7 points or less than 6 points, whatever it was. I think we trend in that direction the year before Coach Rule's first year too. We were in the same kind of boat where we just weren't closing out those games, and I think it has a lot to do with just us as a team growing, getting older, mature. I think the roster's flipped over a bunch too. We had a lot of great players before, and they've moved on, and we still have a lot of great new players, a revamped offensive line, young draft picks. So I'm excited. The NFC is way different conference, division than I should say the NFC. Let's see, what are we in the NFC South? We have plenty of stuff to worry about down there with the Saints and, Atlanta and big old rivalries, and then Tampa, of course. So it should be fun. I take it one day at a time. I live in the moment as best I can. Our minds all wander with everything we do, but I try to be really dialed in on that stuff and just keep the mental health right, get some good sleep, and just keep football and not overthink it.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest factors for you guys will really be not only the quarterback situation, but Christian McCaffrey. He's been banged up, he's been injured. He's really just this kind of Brian Westbrook type of running back that is really the spark plug. I mean, he's kind of, I guess, feel like maybe I'm wrong here, but you're really the guy that kind of moves this offense in a sense.
Christian's just an absolute beast. First off, as a human, he's an unbelievable guy. I've been able to play with him now 2 years. He's fantastic. There's no one more driven, dedicated to his body. To me, injury-prone players are guys that do not take care of their body. Christian McCaffrey is someone who takes the best care of everybody possible you could take on your body. That's Christian McCaffrey. He's not an injury-prone guy. He's had some fluke things that you would be like, that is crazy how that happened. That I'm not comfortable talking about. They're public, but people can look into them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, that guy is driven, and he's going to just have a great year. He's so team oriented. He's such a leader. He wants to win so bad. I mean, this is the guy that's like eyes on like championships, Hall of Fame. Like, that's where his mind's at. Brian Westbrook's a really good one. I'll say he's Brian Westbrook, who runs like a 4.3 40. And Brian wasn't slow, but Christian is super fast. He's like got a jetpack on his back. He's like a build a player, really. Everyone maybe gets on him because of his size or whatever. I mean, he played 4 straight years. I think he had 100+ touches every one of those years in the NFL. And then he got a couple of nicks and knacks, and everyone says he's injury prone. He's not injury prone. He's ready to go. So I'm excited. Obviously, he's 22 is a big number for us, as you guys know, and there's no secret. He's been banged up, but I think he'll be okay and ready to go.
Yeah, one of the things with people talk about injury prone players, however you want to describe it. One of the things I always look at it, you guys are going 100 miles per hour. Every play is a car crash. Guys are flipping over each other. How more injuries don't happen always blows my mind, because guys are, he's injury prone. I'm like, you don't understand. Watching on TV, it looks slow. When you're on the field, it's ridiculous how fast it's going.
Yeah, you've worked enough games to know that this is moving quick, and it's loud, and there's a lot of obstacles, and you could just be standing there after a play and someone falls on top of your ankle. I mean, that's my quote unquote biggest fear, is someone rolling you up. Never stop your feet, because you can always fall on your back and be okay. Think about, I just said that. You can always fall on your back and maybe bump your head and be okay. But like, someone rolls up on your knees or whatever, that's the hardest part about it. There's no brace, there's no tape, none of that does anything. So yeah, that's this game. I've had plenty of injuries. I like to consider myself healthy, but I have my nicks and knacks that go from year to year that just become actually normal. And I'm like, that's been there forever, but it's not healthy. But when my career's over, I'll drop my 20, 30 pounds, and I'll go from 260 back down to maybe a normal weight, and life will be good. But life's pretty good right now. I'm very lucky to play in this league, and I'm looking forward to, like I said, my 6th professional training camp.
Last thing for you, obviously, the NFL, a lot of people joke it stands for the not for long league. I'm sure there's going to be some pressure on Matt Rule to win now in Carolina. How badly do you want to win for Matt and everything he's done for your career? He's given you a life in the NFL. He's given you a shot back in college. How badly do you want to win for Matt and succeed with him in Carolina?
I think what makes us a healthy working environment in Carolina is that a lot of people, the entire place, wants to win for Coach Rule and our staff. People respect Coach. They love our process. are bought into what we're doing. I love and respect Coach as a human and as a coach. You know, he's someone that him and I are close personally. We're honest with each other. And I think that's all you can ask for in any relationship, let alone a head coach and player relationship. I wouldn't want to play for anybody else. I played the most for him. I really enjoy playing for Coach. So, you know, Coach rules the man. He's a Philly guy. He's got a place on the Jersey Shore. He loves Philly. And, you know, he's the man. But I'll say this, Not For Long. That's my media company, Not For Long Media. So,
oh, wow.
Harmless plug there, but I got cut from the Giants, had emergency appendectomy, and they cut me. And they're like, I'm like, you know what? The NFL stands for Not For Long. So I started the media company, and here we are, 4 or 5 years later with the company rolling, and a harmless plug there. We have 4 or 5 podcasts and all these different things going. So it's fun.
That's awesome. And so is that kind of your future after football?
We'll see. I'm keeping all the doors open. I've done color commentary on the sideline. I've done coaching. I've done scouting. I've done, radio hits. I've done my own podcast. You know, like we're a little media company here with 4 or 5 podcasts. Like I said, we're a little mini business. So who knows? We'll keep the doors open and see where they go.
Well, thanks a lot, Colin. I appreciate it. Best of luck this season with Carolina. I wish you the best, and good luck this season.
Thank you, Jeff.
Great insight there from Panthers tight end Colin Thompson. Great to hear from him. His journey is so inspirational. If you like the show, click subscribe at the bottom of your screen. Also hit the bell button on YouTube, and I'll send you an alert when we drop the next episode. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all your favorite podcast apps. Just click on the links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Jeff Skversky. We'll see you next time on Inside the Huddle, presented by Sportskeeda.